Hello and welcome to the Q&A for October 2023. I almost missed this one, and I'm unfortunately recording and editing it the day before it needs to go live because I'm dumb and almost forgot. But I didn't forget, so we made it. Well, hopefully we made it. These aren't super hard to edit or make, so yeah, it'll come out on time, for sure. Unlike something else, which doesn't appear to be coming out on time. But that's not what we're here to talk about now, is it? Anyways, first question is from Only Alex, and they ask, do you think that TCA will ever add some sort of unique thing that'll make it blow up? Because good combat alone isn't gonna make it blow up from what I've seen so far. Yeah, Alex, I am fully aware, but unfortunately, I don't really think that there's anything that TCA can do right now to blow up other than getting lucky, and that's mostly based off of the fact that there are a lot of worse games out there that have more players. So I don't think it's just as simple as the game doesn't have anything unique so people aren't playing it. Because even if this was just like a clone completely with nothing original whatsoever, I'm still sure that it would pretty much be a crapshoot on whether or not the game blew up or did well. I don't know why TCA gets screwed so bad compared to these other worse games, but we do have things planned when it comes to setting us apart from other games. It's just whether or not those things will actually matter, well, only time will tell, I suppose. The next question is from Gyroscope, and they say, short question, are you planning on reviewing every stand in TCA at some point the same way you did for YBA a while back? Also, I think you're great and I really enjoy your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Gyroscope. Maybe? I don't know. The stand review series in of itself, I think I've talked about maybe once or twice. But in general, those are some of my hardest videos to make. It's kind of ironic because they used to be my easiest videos to make because the ways that I used to make them compared to how I make them now has changed dramatically. I almost sort of screwed myself over because stand reviews used to be one of my best performing series back on YBA. And so in order to continue to sort of push the envelope when it came to reviews, I made them more complex, I put more time into editing them and making them more visually appealing as well as better pacing-wise, and added new sections to the videos in order to make them better. Generally just put a lot more time and effort into the stand reviews instead of just sort of shitting out a garbage, barely edited video where I just talk for 20 minutes. Because that's what the old stand review videos pretty much were. If you go back and watch them, even the ones that have like a ton of views, the older ones, where I literally just went on and segmented the video and talked a bit and that was it. Usually using the same music throughout most of them, and it was just like, it was total low effort. And so I've upped the ante when it comes to the stand review series and also switched over to TCA doing them, which has completely nuked my views. And simultaneously, now the videos that I do on stand reviews tend to do worse than my other videos that take less effort. So putting out stand reviews is a real struggle because every time I think about doing one, I think about how much work I'm gonna have to put into it. And then on the flip side, I think about how little return I'm gonna get and how little people I'm going to actually be helping. And it just doesn't feel worth it. So that didn't really answer the question. Am I planning on reviewing every stand in TCA? Maybe. I don't want to just go back to the way things were before. Like, I don't want to just delete all the effort and all the formatting that I've done for the new stand reviews because I think they just make for objectively better videos. But reality is, I can't just shit them out anymore. They take a lot of time. So we'll see. Next question's from GhostBear7291. They say, out of curiosity, what would your favorite non-JoJo's ability that you would love to see in TCA? That grammar's a mess. I understand that's far off it all. I'm not even going to try to read the rest of this, but I'll answer the question. Recently, in the game design and testers chat, me and Rain, another person from the game design team, have been hopelessly petitioning for a Buster Sword or Cloud Strife spec or ability. So right now that's at the top of my list just because that's fresh on my mind. I just finished Final Fantasy VII. I think that game's really cool, and I think that a Buster Sword spec or ability would be really badass and work quite well. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of ideas on that front because I don't play a lot of games or watch a lot of media that would lend itself to work well as a spec or ability. Next question's from Breaking Bones Lamau, and it says the 1v1 rework plus Sticky Fingers rework is supposedly coming soon. And Uzuki has stated that more developers are going to be brought in due to the deadline not being able to be reached. If this really does happen, do you think the game will improve or stay where it's at? I highly doubt they're going to start improving, probably make it worse, but I would like to know what you think about it. Yeah, you kind of echo exactly how I feel, and I think this entire era of YBA right now, I don't know what I would even call it. I guess Uzuki says he's going to do things and doesn't era, because we kind of went through this before, and then we got the Uzuki says nothing at all, and then we get nothing era, and now we're in the Uzuki says he's going to do things and then doesn't do them era. And in this era of YBA where I've pretty much just tapped out and I'm like, well, I'll wait until something comes out and not make any videos on it, on the game, and nothing has come out, so I have not made any videos on the game. Which, by the way, if anyone's curious on what my plans are for YBA in general, that's pretty much it. I'm waiting for them to do something. I'll probably cover that thing when it comes out, and then go back to not playing until they put something else in. That's the game plan for right now. Anyways, do I think that things are suddenly going to improve and deadlines are going to start being reached because more people are brought on board? No, I don't. Why would they have given me any reason to believe that? What have they given me to believe them at all? Like I said, this is the era of Uzuki says he's going to do things and then doesn't do them. So I think that he will tell us that he's doing something and then not do it, because that's how things have been. I don't know what else to say on that. That's all I have got. Paylol1781 asks a good question, and that is, are you truly satisfied with your channel in the state that it's in? You're having fun with TCA, but I feel that making Battlefield vids or in other games in general is what you want. I am here for you, and I loved your Subnautica videos. Thank you. I'm like half and half, I guess, when it comes to am I satisfied with the channel state right now. The thing is, I have been having a lot of fun with TCA, just in general. I think I have a lot of fun playing the game. I log on to play it even when I'm not recording, which I've said before, which is pretty rare for games in general. I'm heavily involved behind the scenes in terms of testing and giving design decisions and trying to make the game as good as it can be. It honestly occupies a lot of my time nowadays, but obviously the views aren't quite there when it comes to that stuff, and uploading anything that isn't Roblox in general or isn't Roblox anime, I guess, I don't even know, just sort of ends up the same or worse. So in terms of like, would I rather be making videos on games that I really want to play, like Battlefield or Call of Duty? Yes, I would rather be doing that. But am I upset that I'm making videos on TCA? Not right now. It's a way better state. Like, it's weird, because like I said, it's sort of half and half. Like, the ideal would be I could make videos on TCA the same way I did on YBA and have the same level of success, right? Because then I would be having fun doing what I'm doing and not have to worry about views or financials. But unfortunately, I'm not in that point right now. I'm not like financially in ruin, but things are a lot worse compared to how they were before. So it ends up being a question of like, would you rather sell your soul and make a bunch of money, or do what you enjoy and have to worry about finances? I don't know. It's a hard question to answer. Generally speaking, I'm happy with where I'm at in terms of what I'm doing, but I'm not happy in terms of how it's doing. NoTaroBot6688 says, do you think one of the reasons TCA isn't blowing up is the lack of big graphics and effects? To me, they're just inconvenient FPS killers, but for some reason, a lot of people actually like them. No, I've seen this a lot. A lot of people say that the reason that TCA isn't blowing up or isn't really popular is because it doesn't have a lot of super complicated visual effects and animations and stuff like that. No, I don't think that's a factor. I don't think that's nearly as big of a factor as a lot of people seem to think it is. Because once again, as I've said earlier, there are a lot of games that do better than this one that lack those big, overzealous effects that just make it so you can't see. So while it's easy to point at that and say, well, here's the reason that it's not doing well, I don't think that's it. I really genuinely don't. I used to for a while, But after seeing other games that have arguably just significantly worse effects and animations and stuff still doing better than TCA is, like, it's hard to quantify just how poorly the game is doing sometimes when you compare it against games that are just worse, that are doing better. And it's like, wow, what is happening here? Like, how is this happening? And the answer is I still really kind of don't know. Next question's from Patrick Ouellette 296. I definitely screwed that up. And they say, do you plan on doing challenges for the TCA storyline like you did a few times in YBA, like beating the storyline without a stand or no skill points, etc.? No, I don't. I have no plans of doing any sort of TCA storyline videos, and that's mostly because, number one, the TCA storyline isn't finished, and number two, it would be like so unbelievably colossally easy that there's basically no point of doing it at all. TCA doesn't even have very many bosses in the game to begin with. I think, like, if we just go through it, you fight the tutorial enemies, or wait, no, you fight the bullies for Koichi, then you fight the tutorial NPCs after the parkour section, then you fight a 150 HP boss with the hand that can be easily cheesed and killed. Then you do one of the repeatable quests and fight some NPCs with guns that are really easy to beat. And then finally, you fight the current final boss, which is Kira, who has Killer Queen, which is a terrible stand, and you can just crush. So, yeah, it wouldn't really be very hard. I wouldn't be able to make it entertaining. There's barely anything there. Not planned anytime soon. This is an interesting one. This question's from Justina. And they say, are you ever planning to make a group channel with your friends? And this is a good way to kind of get into my dynamic when it comes to playing with my friends and stuff. The short answer is no. I've never even really thought about it because the logistics would never work out. At least I don't think so. But the longer answer is I basically have two main groups of people that I play with for the most part. There are some other people sprinkled in there, but generally speaking, day to day, there are two groups of people I interact with. My friends that I knew from real life back in high school that I still play with probably the most out of anybody. And then my friends that I made through my gang, the Arcanes. Now, when it comes to my friends in real life, there's pretty much three of us that I play with the most. Myself, my friend Raul, my friend Luke, and my friend Abe, who you've probably seen in any of my videos where I play with my friends, especially if you watch videos that aren't directly Roblox related. Now, when it comes to our dynamic, we all play wildly different games, and so it's often hard for us to get a game that we all enjoy. So when we do have one, we tend to just play that, which generally speaking doesn't work very well for a YouTube channel. Just for reference, obviously I like playing Battlefield, Call of Duty, TCA. Those are like my three games right now. But on the contrast, my friend Raul isn't really huge into first-person shooters. We've kind of forced him back into it because that's what we've been playing. But generally speaking, he had a falling out with first-person shooters and was enjoying games like XCOM. And then my friend Abe doesn't play with us nearly as often recently because he sucks, but generally speaking, he'll be playing a lot of hyper-competitive things like Valorant or Counter-Strike, which the rest of us don't like at all. And then finally, my friend Luke doesn't really like playing games at all, and has said about 100 times that he wouldn't play games if it wasn't playing with us. So in other words, if he didn't have friends to play games with, he wouldn't play games whatsoever. So he's sort of the wild card. He'll play anything. And when it comes to Roblox games, I am the only one, other than Abe, who says he's interested but doesn't really play any when it comes to Roblox Jojo games. So you've probably noticed that there are basically no videos on YBA or TCA with them. I think there was one or two with Luke, maybe some with Abe, and zero with Raul because he doesn't want anything to do with that. But on the flip side, the three of them like just playing bad, garbage Roblox games. And I do not. I play Roblox basically for my job. I play it all the time. I just have a general bad vibe when it comes to playing Roblox, especially just objectively terrible games that have nothing to them. I just don't care and I don't want to play them, but they do. So we have this sort of rough dynamic where it can be sometimes hard to find a game for us all to play, which would mean playing a group channel with all of us would be pretty much impossible, because we'd be basically forcing somebody at some point to be playing something that they didn't want to play. In terms of my other friends, the people from the Arcanes, I don't play with them as much as I play with my other friends, and I don't really know them as well, just because, well, I didn't grow up with them, obviously, so that plays a factor. But I think a lot of the same sort of things apply to them as they do for me. I've had them harassing me a few times to play things like Peroxide and Blocks Fruit and all this garbage, where like sometimes they'll joke about how bad it is and then log in and play it anyway for hours and hours and hours and hours. So it's like, you can't come on here and say this sucks, this is terrible, and then log on and play till max level or get to like level 1400 looking at you, Ghost. But regardless, you kind of get the idea. Is it possible? Maybe. Would I do it? No, I don't think so, at least not right now. Next question's from PRX Motos 4470. And they say, are you planning on making on... Wait, what? Are you planning on making on playing other video games? Sometimes life is hard. And hopefully branch out to a wider audience. I think if you're going to do that, you should have a setup like your old builder busts, how the most liked comment was the build or bust, however this time it can be for video games. That was hard to read. But I have seen this comment more than once. This is just the one that I could find in my Q&A, and I really like this, so I'm probably going to start doing it. But it's a sort of, I don't know how I didn't think of this before, but it's literally just pretty much the Build or Bust series, which I'll obviously name something else, because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's like that, where whoever puts the top comment on the video is the next game that I'll play and review. And so it's sort of like, here's what you should play, okay, go play it. Obviously, I won't be directly taking all requests, so if you like make the most voted comment shitwoken, or if you make the most voted comment, I don't know, YBA modded, it will get rejected, because those games are horribly terrible and nobody should ever play them, especially shitwoken. That's the worst video game ever made, and if you play it, then you should reconsider your life choices. But anyways, yeah, this is a good idea. I like it. I'm going to be doing it. Shitwoken. And the last question is from Crimson21, and they say, have you played Arcane Odyssey at all since the last video you made on it? If so, have any of the recent updates changed any gripes you had with the game previously? No, I haven't played it. I kind of lost all my interest in Arcane Odyssey after I sort of got to the end. Because the game burned me out, forcing me to do things that I didn't want to do, or wander around and do nothing for huge long periods of time. Every time I hit one of those level gates, it was a sense of frustration that I had. And so when I finally got to the end of the game, I was just kind of pissed off, I guess, in a sense, when I finally got to max level. And as much fun as it was to play some of the points to get to that area, like I think the time that I played with my buddy Abe, that was hilarious when we were like low level and they couldn't kill us and we were blowing up ships and stuff. But that's barely even the game. You could do that with any game. Any game is fun with friends, comparatively. And when it came to the actual like gameplay and PvP of the game, I don't know if that's changed, but from at least when I was last on there, which was an age and a half ago, so I'm sure it's been patched, but the combat was just a complete disaster. It was just bad. Like, I don't know how else to put it other than bad. You could make, with certain items and certain combinations, you could make builds that were just so colossally overpowered that there was basically no point of fighting other people. Like, you could have a giant AoE that killed someone literally in one key press. Like, come on. How are we okay with this? How did that even get past testing? Was that intended? Are you supposed to be able to make builds where you can just one-tap people? Because at that point, using literally anything else is pointless. So I wrote off the PvP, and without PvP, and with pretty much nothing else to do in the game, I'd logged off. Now, I understand that they've added like a procedurally generated thing and stuff like that, but is that going to solve the PvP issues or anything like that? I don't know, and I haven't really bothered to check, because the only reason that I would log back on is if people came with me, and the only people that I know who play Roblox reliably are my friends from Arcane. And the last time that I asked them if they'd played Arcane Odyssey, I think 2 or 3 of them said that they never even made it to the end of the game, which would be kind of hard to balance that out when I have. and you kind of get the idea. Do I plan on playing it again? Maybe, but I just don't. It like doesn't interest me very much anymore. It was fun for when I played it, but nowadays, nah. And that's it. That's the wrap for the Q&A for October. I hope that I answered some of your questions. I scrolled through a lot of stuff. There were a lot of things that I just didn't really think needed to be answered this time around, which is inevitable when it comes to doing a Q&A every month. Like, eventually people are going to run out of questions. And there's also some of the same stuff, like where I've already answered it, so I'll just skip it. But regardless, I hope this helped some of you. That's going to be wrapping it up for today. So if you enjoyed the video, you found it helpful, you can leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, don't do those things. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.